Good morning, my YouTube viewers. Palestine here. We have another hot morning. It's not even 9 o'clock, and I'm already drenched with sweat because we're in the middle of a heat wave in the UK. They think it was probably the hottest summer they've had for years and years and years. I had to go out and buy new clothes, buy summer clothes, because I didn't have very many summer clothes. So I had to buy new clothes. You can see I'm drenched. It's not even 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm completely drenched in sweat. But I forgot to say, welcome to my channel. So basically, I didn't think I was going to make a video so soon because some of the more difficult videos that I want to make, I can only make them on the weekends because I have to have a day off just to be able to get my thoughts together and say it in a rational way, and I don't want to have to rush. But so this video isn't going to be something that's really personal. It's just telling you about my day. So the first thing that happened, I'll talk to you about my mother first, and then I'll talk to you about my medical problems. So I phoned my mother last night, and she told me that she fell again. Now, my mother has a really big house. I mean, my tiny little apartment is not even as big as her kitchen. And she has a really big house, and then she has a music room. And the last time I was there, which it was a long time ago, so she had like a garage, and she had converted this garage to a little house or whatever, and it was a music room. So I think it was the music room that she was going into, but she fell because apparently the ground wasn't flat, and because the ground wasn't flat, she fell, and she has to use a walker to walk now. She can't walk on her own anymore. And she fell, and apparently my stepdad has problems hearing, so she kept calling him for about half an hour until finally either he heard her or he went out there and he saw her laying on the ground or wherever it was that she was laying. And my stepdad, because he's in his late 80s, he said he couldn't get her up. So she said, well, go get me my bag. And then she had her phone in her bag, and she was able to phone this friend of hers. He's actually a couple years younger than my sister and myself. So she phoned this friend of hers, and this friend of hers, and they've got a man living downstairs in the cellar of the house, the basement of the house, because my mother has such a big house. She's actually got people living with her. And so my mother's friend and that man were able to get her up. And so basically, my mother said that she doesn't want to go back to the hospital. So, but she said that she hurt her leg, and her leg is all blue now where she fell. I'm not sure exactly when it was that she fell. It was definitely a few days ago, but she's really upset about the fact that she fell, and she doesn't want to go back to the hospital. I think it might have something to do with the money. I'm not sure about how she's paying all of these hospital bills. I'm not sure at all. I know she's got some kind of insurance, but I don't know if the insurance requires you to pay some up front. I'm not sure what her insurance is. And so she was telling me about that. And so I told her about this man at the church I go to, that he's 90 years old, and he's not overweight at all. And he's actually quite skinny, and he kept collapsing. So they took him to the hospital because he kept collapsing. And then I think that they decided that he couldn't go home. So they put him in a care home. And so I told my mom about that. I said, there's not really anything wrong with him. It's just his body is breaking down, That's what you get in old age. So, yeah, around 90, this man is healthy. He's not overweight, quite skinny, really. But basically, when you're 90, your body starts breaking down. And so he kept collapsing, and now he's in a care home. So I don't know what's going to happen with his home. I guess that he's got 2 children. I guess his 2 children are going to have to sort that out. So I told my mom about that instance. So I don't know what's going to happen with my mom, because if she keeps falling, I don't know what's going to happen. But she does keep falling. She falls a lot. And they might tell her she can't stay home anymore. But that's what she wants to do. She wants to stay home. She has a really big house. If he gave you the address and you Googled it, you would know what a big house it is. And she's got one garage, I think, that was converted to a music room. And then she had another little house that was converted to a hairdressing salon. And then she's got house on the bottom. So my mom does have a lot of things. She said she doesn't have any money, but she has a lot of things. But if she sold her things, she would have money. But that's another issue. So my mother doesn't want to go. She doesn't want to go to the hospital. And she wants to stay home. She wants to stay home. So that's what she wants to do. She wants to stay there the rest of her life. And so I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I don't have any contact with my brother. I only have contact with my sister. So when my mother isn't around anymore, my sister will be the only one that I have contact with. So that's the business with my mother. And then so yesterday afternoon, I got a text message. But I can't show you the text message. And the reason why is because I'm making this video on my phone. And the text message came up on my phone. But I received a text message from the doctor's surgery that I go to. And basically, I've written it down. They're changing my diabetic medication from alogliptin to sitagliptin. And then they say that it's based upon guidelines. They gave you a letter that you could read, and I tried to click onto the letter and I couldn't read the letter. So that's another problem that we have, because with the health system, they want everybody to do everything electronically. But if you don't have a smartphone, you can't do it. And then if you're elderly, you probably can't do it either. But they want everybody to have a smartphone. So I tried to click onto this letter, and I downloaded, but it wouldn't come up on Word. So I didn't get to read the letter. So I'm a bit annoyed about that. They basically, what they want to do is they want to save money on typing letters and postage and things like that. So they want you to get a letter on a PDF file or a Word document or something. But if your phone hasn't got Word on it, then you can't read the letter. So I looked it up, and it said sitagliptin is a gliptin, and I'm not sure exactly what it does. It's a diabetic medication. So if you're really interested in knowing what sitagliptin does, you can always look it up. But it's a diabetic medication. And I think that they're changing me from alogliptin to sitagliptin because sitagliptin is cheaper. And they said something about the side effects too, because you have side effects for alogliptin and then you have side effects for sitagliptin. And they just said that they were moving me over to sitagliptins based upon guidelines. But I don't know what those guidelines are. I don't know exactly why they're moving me over from alogliptin or sitagliptin. But I think that it's to do with money, I'm sure. Because I haven't had any problems with alogliptin. And I had to take a blood test a month or so ago. And nothing came back on the blood test. They never came back and said anything about the blood test. So I'm just assuming that they're changing me over to sitagliptin because sitagliptin is a cheaper drug than alogliptin is. That's what I'm assuming. And they're also going to be using generic sitagliptin. But sitagliptin and alogliptin are both gliptins, whatever that is, and they're very similar drugs. So I'm thinking that it's all to do with money, all to do with saving money. And then I looked it up on the internet. I tried to look on YouTube, find out what sitagliptin was on YouTube, tried to look on the internet, and it is a diabetic drug. And if you're really interested, you can look up sitagliptin and see what it does, but it's a diabetic drug. So I think that's it for my videos. I told you about my mother falling again, and then changing my diabetic medication. And I think that's all that's going on right now, except for the fact that, you know, I've got some issues with friends that I'm not going to discuss it with. My friend is being abused at home, but he doesn't want anybody to know. And if it was me, I would like to get the police involved, but he doesn't want anybody to know. And so he is being abused, and that's another issue, but he doesn't want anybody to know about that. So that concludes my video. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. Thank you for taking an interest in my pathetic life, and I will be communicating with you soon.